At the very heart of our galaxy sleeps a giant. It has 4 million times the mass of our Sun, and right now it is silent. Arthur de Spokening Otel repentantly hoped your thought. But what would happen if this monster suddenly woke up? Meet the giant, a black hole called Sagittarius A star. It sits at the core of the Milky Way, about 26,000 light-years away. It is a supermassive black hole weighing about 4 million suns. But if a black hole is invisible, how do we even know it is there? We watch stars near the center whip around something we cannot see. One star, called S2, races around it once every 16 years. Those breakneck orbits reveal a huge, invisible mass hiding there. And in 2022, we finally captured its shadow directly. A dark circle ringed by a blazing halo of superheated gas. And yet, today, Sagittarius A star is a remarkably quiet giant. It barely eats, sipping only a thin trickle of gas. So it stays dim, a sleeping giant at the core of our galaxy. But black holes are not always this calm. So what would it actually mean for this one to wake up? Awakening begins with a sudden feast of matter falling in. Gas and the shredded remains of stars spiral inward. That infalling matter piles up into a fast-spinning disk. Friction heats that disk to millions of degrees. It blazes so fiercely it can outshine billions of stars at once. A quiet black hole transforms into a blinding quasar, and often twin jets erupt straight from its poles. These are beams of plasma fired at nearly the speed of light. Such jets can stretch for thousands of light-years. It sounds like pure science fiction, but here is the twist. Our own black hole has almost certainly done this before, and the clues are written all across our sky. Clue 1. Gigantic bubbles ballooning above and below the core. These Fermi bubbles each span tens of thousands of light-years. They were blown out by a violent outburst millions of years ago. Clue 2. Glowing gas far away from the center. A distant stream of gas is lit up like a glowing scar. Models trace it to a huge flare about 3.5 million years ago. Back then, our early ancestors already walked the Earth. They may have looked up and seen a strange glow in the dark. Clue 3. Light echoes bouncing off nearby gas clouds. I not ten-detailed. They hint it flared far brighter just a few centuries ago. So this giant is not truly asleep. It is only resting. Which brings us to the real question. What if Sagittarius A star woke up today? First, remember just how far away it really is. Its light takes 26,000 years to reach us. So we would only see the awakening 26,000 years later. When it arrives, a brilliant new point would light our night sky. At its peak, it might even be visible in broad daylight. A tiny second sun, glowing toward the heart of the galaxy. But would all that radiation actually be dangerous to us? Here is the reassuring part. Distance is our shield. 26,000 light-years is an absolutely enormous gulf. The fierce radiation spreads thin across all that empty space. And crucially, the deadly jets are not aimed at Earth. For us, it would be far more light show than death ray. But near the core, the story is very different. Stars and worlds close to the giant would be brutally scorched. Intense radiation could strip nearby planets down to bare rock. Star formation around the center would be badly disrupted. The entire galactic neighborhood would be transformed. So we are lucky to live far out in the galaxy's quiet suburbs. Tens of thousands of light-years from all the action. But will the giant ever truly feed again? Astronomers keep a close watch on the center for its next meal. In 2014, a gas cloud called G2 swung dangerously close. Many expected a spectacular feeding frenzy to erupt. Instead, the cloud mostly survived and slipped right past. The giant barely stirred and simply stayed quiet. But one day, a bigger meal will wander too close. A dense gas cloud or an unlucky star torn apart. When a star is shredded, it flares brightly as it is devoured. That could switch our black hole back on and light up the heart of our galaxy once more. It might happen next century or in a million years. The giant keeps its own slow and patient clock. But one thing is certain, one day it will wake again. And when it does, the whole Milky Way will blaze. If you enjoyed this, subscribe and let's keep exploring the universe together.